So today we are jumping into a deep dive on what I think is a true classic in the world of human relations. We're looking at Dale Carnegie and Associates' book, The Leader in You.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic source because it takes all those timeless principles and really applies them to the modern world.
Exactly. I mean, the mission for today is to sift through this material and extract the actual psychological tools that turn everyday people into, highly motivated leaders.
Right, because it's not just for the C-suite.
No, not at all. We want to show that leadership is just a practical toolkit for anyone who interacts with other human beings in this crazy, fast-paced world we live in.
Well, to really understand why this modern toolkit is so necessary, we have to look at the context of the shift we've been going through, like the human relations revolution.
Okay, yeah, set the stage for us.
So for decades after World War II, American companies got, they got kind of fat and happy.
Very complacent.
Extremely complacent. They relied on this steep top-down hierarchy. You know, the whole command and control thing where executives do the thinking and workers just do the doing.
Right.
But then you have visionary thinkers like W. Edwards Deming who stepped in. He actually went to Japan and helped rebuild their economy using a totally different approach.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he dismantled those steep pyramids. He focused on employee involvement, total quality management, and just an obsessive focus on the customer.
I mean, that older corporate structure just makes me think of, that old Blondie comic strip?
Oh, yeah, with Mr. Dithers.
Yes, exactly. Where the boss, Mr. Dithers, would just scream Bumstead at the top of his lungs.
And Dagwood would just come running in absolute terror.
Right. It was funny in the comics, but as a business model, it's just terrible.
It really is.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because knowing that the Mr. Dithers model is dead is one thing, but we actually need to define what replaces it.
Yeah, and what replaces it is a fundamental shift in the actual shape of an organization. We are moving away from that rigid pyramid to a much flatter horizontal team structure.
Like physically changing the org chart.
Completely. A great example from the source material is the Mary Kay Corporation. They use what they call a molecular structure.
A molecular structure.
Right. So imagine the traditional pyramid, but totally inverted. The customer is placed at the very top.
Okay, makes sense.
And then right beneath them is the sales force. The people actually interacting with the market every single day.
So where do the executives go?
They are pushed all the way to the bottom. In fact, the vice chairman of the company literally referred to himself as an insignificant green dot.
An insignificant green dot.
Yeah. His whole philosophy was that his only job was to provide resources and clear roadblocks for the people above him who were actually doing the real work.
Okay, wait, let me push back on that for a second.
Sure.
Because if there's no hierarchy, and everyone is just on this flat team and executives are just green dots at the bottom, doesn't that just lead to total chaos?
It sounds like it would, right?
I mean, how does anything actually get done without a boss handing out a daily to-do list?
That is the big fear. But the thing that prevents that chaos is vision.
Vision.
Yeah, when you flatten a team, you have to give everyone a North Star.
Yeah.
Look at Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak when they were young and starting Apple in that garage.
Right, they weren't exactly corporate managers.
No, not at all. They didn't build it by dictating orders. They built it by enrolling people in their vision. Jobs had this idea that a computer shouldn't be some massive, intimidating machine for the government.
Oh, I know this. He called it a bicycle of the mind.
Exactly, a bicycle of the mind for the individual. When you give people a shared vision like that, they don't need to be micromanaged.
They just kind of drive themselves.
Right. They actually want to figure out the route on their own.
And it doesn't just apply to tech startups either. There's this incredible story in the book about Fred Wilpon. He was the president of the New York Mets baseball team.
Right. I remember this one.
So he's taking this group of young kids on a VIP tour of Shea Stadium. They're having a great time, and Wilpon tries to lead them into the bullpen.
Which is usually off limits.
Right. So suddenly, this uniformed security guard steps right in front of Wilpon and blocks his path. He says, "I'm sorry, the bullpen isn't open to the public. You can't go out there."
And Wilpon is the president of the team. He literally owns the building.
Right. So his instinct should be to just pull rank.
Yeah.
He could have screamed at the guy, flashed his badge, humiliated him in front of all these kids.
But he doesn't.
No, he doesn't pull rank at all. He just calmly nods, turns the kids around, and takes them through a different gate.
Yeah.
And it gets better. Later that day, he actually sends that security guard a thank you note for doing his job so well.
See, and that right there, that connects perfectly to what this means for you, the listener.
How so?
Because leadership isn't the title on your door. It's not about being the president of the Mets. It's how you choose to interact with that security guard or the clerk at the store or your team every single day. Will Pun reinforced the vision that security matters more than his own ego.
Right, he built trust instead of fear.
Exactly. But to build that kind of trust, a leader really needs a specific tool. And it's one that, frankly, most people think they have, but they actually don't.
Okay, I'll bite. What is it?
Active listening.
Oh, man, yeah. Communication is supposed to be a two-way street, but it has to start with listening. And the book has this hilarious, but honestly kind of tragic story about a veteran radio interviewer.
Oh, from Hugh Downs, right.
Yes. Hugh Downs tells this story about a guy interviewing a man who had actually escaped from a Kremlin prison.
High stakes.
Unbelievably high stakes. So the guest is on live radio telling this harrowing story about how they dug a tunnel for months.
Just brutal conditions.
Right. And he describes the moment they finally break through the dirt, they poke their heads up, and they realize they've tunneled directly into Joseph Stalin's personal office.
I mean, that is just the ultimate cliffhanger.
It's incredible radio. But the interviewer is apparently just staring at his notes, completely tuned out. And his response to this incredible revelation is, so, do you have any hobbies?
Oh my gosh, it hurts to even hear that.
Right. It's just devastating.
But you know what's fascinating here is the underlying psychology of that mistake. Andres Navarro, who was the president of Sonda, he points out this brilliant thing about the Spanish language.
Oh, yeah, the two different words for hearing.
Exactly. They have or, which just means to passively hear the biological sound.
Like background noise.
Right. But then they have escuchar, which means to actively listen. And most people in business are just stuck in or. They are passively hearing while their brain is completely occupied, planning what they want to say next.
Just waiting for their turn to
Yeah.
talk.
Yes, exactly.
And Dale Carnegie was the total opposite of that. There's a story where he went to a dinner party and spent the whole night talking to a botanist.
And Carnegie knew nothing about botany.
Nothing at all. But he barely said a word.
Yeah.
He just listened intently with genuine interest to everything this guy had to say.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the night, the botanist told everyone that Carnegie was the most interesting conversationalist.
Even though he hardly spoke.
Exactly. It's like, think about being a catcher in baseball. You can't just squat back there and let the ball hit you in the face mask.
No, you'd get crushed.
Right. You have to actively receive the pitch. You track it. You move your glove, you frame it. It's an active physical process.
That is a great analogy. Because if you want to persuade someone or lead them, the best tool you have isn't actually your mouth, it's your ears. You have to catch their pitch.
But listening actively like that naturally forces you to do something else that can be pretty uncomfortable.
Empathy.
Right. You have to step out of your own reality and into theirs. See things from their point of view.
Which is so much harder than it sounds.
It really is. The book talks about Burt Manning before he became a big ad executive. He was in Chicago trying to sell cemetery plots door to door.
A tough gig.
Very tough. And he was failing miserably. He was using this whole financial investment pitch. You know, land is scarce, it's a smart buy.
Trying to appeal to their wallets.
Right. But he was in a very close-knit ethnic neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and they just did not care about the financial angle.
Yeah.
So he finally stopped and looked through his customers' eyes.
And what did he see?
He realized they valued family unity above absolutely everything else.
Yeah.
So he completely changed his pitch. He started selling them a way to keep the whole family together forever in this beautiful place. And his sales just skyrocketed.
Because he finally met them where they actually were.
But wait, let me ask you a pointed question here.
Go for it.
Isn't tailoring your pitch to someone's psychological weaknesses just a form of manipulation? Like, where is the actual line between empathy and just manipulating someone to get a sale?
That is such a crucial question. And the text makes it clear that the line is drawn by genuine respect. True empathy requires a fundamental respect for the dignity of the other person.
It's about intent.
Exactly. If you're just doing it to exploit them, that's manipulation. But if you respect their dignity, you align your goals with theirs. There's this moving story that illustrates this perfectly with Dr. Tom Degnan.
Oh, the hospital story.
Yes. So he was treating a 16-year-old boy named Don Monty who was tragically dying of leukemia.
Just heartbreaking.
It really is. And Don's parents were so desperate to give him some comfort that they actually snuck a can of sterno fuel into his hospital room.
Wait, like an open flame in a hospital room?
Yes. They were secretly cooking his favorite meal, fettuccine Alfredo, right there in the room over this open flame.
Which has to break every safety rule in the building.
Every single one. And right in the middle of this, Dr. Degnan walks into the room.
Oh man, they must have been terrified.
They were caught red-handed. Now, Dr. Degnan had the authority to scold them, quote, the hospital rules, and just shut it down.
Established dominance.
Right. But instead, he used real empathy. He respected their dignity in that horrible moment. He just sat down, looked at the food, and said, that's my favorite dish, too.
Wow. And he actually ate with them. He prioritized their humanity over the rules.
Exactly.
You see this play out in the corporate world, too. Like David Luther at Corning. He was the director of quality, and you get this angry letter from a warehouse worker that just said Corning stinks.
And to the point.
Very. And the problem was the shipping labels. So Luther actually went to the customer's warehouse.
And what did he find?
Well, the worker told him to look up at the top shelves. And Luther realized that from the floor, the labels were completely unreadable. The font was just way too small.
Oh, so it looked great on a computer screen, but failed in reality.
Exactly. He had to physically stand in the worker's shoes to see the problem.
And when you do that, when you finally understand their point of view and respect their dignity, you unlock what is basically the ultimate leadership superpower.
Motivation.
Right. The ability to truly motivate people to want to do the work.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because how do you get people to actually want to do it? There's this story about a young Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, the rabbits.
Yeah. He was a kid, and he had all these baby rabbits, but nothing to feed them. He needed dandelions and clover, but he couldn't just force the neighborhood kids to do his chores.
So what did he do?
He offered them a deal. He said, if you go gather food for my rabbits, I will officially name the baby rabbits after you.
Such a smart psychological lever.
And it worked. The kids spent all day picking weeds just for the recognition.
Because it taps into something deep. Look, fear, which is,
Right.
The whip, and money, which is the meat, they are terrible long-term motivators.
Really?
Yeah. Freud called it the desire to be great. And John Dewey called it the desire to be important. That is what really drives people.
Okay, but do modern cynical workers really care about gold stars and pats on the back? I mean, doesn't everyone just want a bigger paycheck at the end of the day?
Obviously, fair compensation is baseline. You have to pay people. But beyond that, money isn't the main driver. Look at Val Christensen, who ran a Denny's restaurant.
Okay.
He wanted his wait staff to sell more pies. So instead of just offering a cash bonus to the winner, he offered a limo ride to Los Angeles to see Phantom of the Opera.
That's pretty extravagant for selling pies.
It was. And the winning waitress, she was so moved by this experience, she actually held him crying and promised she wouldn't quit for 30 years.
Just from a limo ride.
Because it wasn't about the money. It was about self-esteem. He made her feel important.
That makes total sense. It creates a sense of ownership, which honestly brings to mind this incredible story from Bill Reese at a company called Pelco.
Right, the airport story.
Yes. So a customer forgot to order some crucial parts, and they were facing massive fines. Bill Reese didn't ask management. He didn't check the employee handbook.
He just took action.
He custom ordered the parts himself, drove them to the airport, and literally ran out onto the active tarmac.
Which is insane.
He stood in front of a taxiing 737 passenger jet and waved his arms to stop the plane so he could get the parts on board.
I mean, that is the definition of ownership.
And he did it unprompted
Right.
because he felt that pride in his work.
Well, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, that kind of ownership usually starts when someone else believes in you first.
Like who?
Think about Mary Kay Ash. Before she had an empire, she was broke selling mops for Stanley Home Products. She went to a convention and saw a woman win this beautiful alligator bag for being the top seller.
The queen of sales.
Right. And Mary Kay marched right up to the president of the company and told him that next year she would be the queen.
Even though she was basically a broke rookie.
Exactly. But the president didn't laugh at her. He looked her in the eye and just said, "Somehow I think you will."
Wow, just those few words.
7 words. And it completely changed her life. She couldn't bear to let him down. She became the queen and eventually built the Mary Kay empire, where she rewarded her own people with those famous pink Cadillacs.
That is just incredible. So what does this all mean for you listening?
I think what we've seen today is that true leadership is accessible right now.
It's not a secret formula.
No, it's built on active listening, viewing problems from the other person's perspective, protecting their dignity, and offering genuine praise.
It really is. And to leave everyone with one final thought, I want to share one more quick story from Dale Carnegie.
Oh, let's hear it.
Carnegie was at a banquet, and a man confidently quoted a line claiming it was from the Bible. Now, Carnegie knew for a fact it was from Shakespeare.
So he corrected him right. He tried to, but the man dug his heels in and argued. Well, a Shakespeare expert was sitting right next to Carnegie. The expert actually kicked Carnegie under the table and said, Dale, you're wrong. The gentleman is right. It is from the Bible.
Wait, he threw Carnegie under the bus?
He totally threw him under the bus. And on the way home, Carnegie asked him why he lied. And the expert said, why prove to a man he is wrong? Is that going to make him like you? Why not let him save his face?
Wow, he prioritized the guy's dignity over just being right.
Exactly. So here is my challenge for you tomorrow. What if you intentionally let someone else be right, even when you possess the facts to prove them wrong?
That is tough.
It is. But what if you prioritize their dignity over your own ego? Just notice how that might instantly change your entire dynamic with them.
That is a phenomenal, provocative thought to end on. You don't always have to be the loudest person in the room to lead. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and we will catch you all next time.